Joining me right now, I have a special guest, and we are inside a very special location as well, because well, you can see a little clue there behind me. I am going to be speaking with Sharad Agarwal, who heads Lamborghini's business here in India, and with us are two very special cars, both dressed in yellow. Sharad, thank you.
Pleasure.
And always a good opportunity to be able to catch up with you, and thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
So, very special car behind you. I think in
Yes.
so many different ways I can describe why it's special. But let me start off by first sort of just getting a sense of what this year has been, because this is that one year that everybody was looking to for Lamborghini, not just in India but worldwide. Has it lived up to those expectations for you?
Absolutely. I can say it's been a very exciting year for us, and I'll say 2018 is a year of acceleration for us. We started the year with the launch of this game changer, Lamborghini Urus, and we started deliveries of Urus in September this year, and I can say that Urus will see the fastest 25 in the super luxury segment in its history in India. Also during the year we launched the limited edition Aventador SVJ, and yesterday we delivered the first SVJ in India, and it's not only the first in India, it's also one of the first few in the world. So it's been a very exciting journey this year. We should grow approximately 70% on our base for 2017 this year, which is again very encouraging for us, and we set up that we are going to grow 3x over our 2017 base by 2020, and this year has really set the platform for us for making this happen much earlier than what we planned.
Now, so many things you said there that sort of instantly spark a few questions. It's interesting you use the word accelerate, of course, because no one knows how to do that better than Lamborghini, I think. But puns aside, give a context to, the average viewer doesn't get why it's such a big deal for a brand like yours or any brand in this space to talk about hitting 25 cars. Just a context.
So the context is, see, super luxury in India is still very small. We're talking of a segment size of about 250 cars annually in this country. Typically the players in India, they have about 20 to 25% market share, because there are 4 to 5 key players who are playing in this segment. Now, given that small base of volume, hitting 25 in a short span of 4 to 5 months means that you are going to drive this segment for future. Okay. So that's what we always said when we unveiled Urus, that Urus is going to create a very unique space in the super luxury segment, because it's not going to eat the segment, it's going to create the segment, it's going to grow the segment, and that's what exactly we have seen, that people from luxury sedans, luxury SUVs, premium sedans, premium SUVs, they are coming and buying Urus. For us, 70% of the Urus buyers are first time to Lamborghini. That tells that how we are growing the segment.
70% is staggering. I mean, we always expected that to be the case, that there will be probably a majority of your buyers who would end up being first-time Lamborghini buyers with a car like this. That's true globally as well, a lot of people coming into the fold. But while, there was a lot of excitement and a lot of anticipation, and it was a no-brainer that if it's an SUV from Lamborghini, it's going to do well in India. Would you say that even you have been surprised by the kind of interest that it's generated?
See, I'll not say we were surprised, because this is what we always planned. This is what we always expected from Urus.
So the anticipation was correct?
Yes, we are more happy to know that what we planned, actually the car has delivered that. So I'll say that.
And when you say fastest to 25, do you reckon that number could have been higher if you had a higher allocation? Because
yes,
the demand globally is crazy, I know.
So it's today on 9 months waiting in India. So you can tell that it all driven by supply from our production plant, and because we have the similar demand and the waiting time across the world, so it's been quite challenging to get cars at the pace at which the customer wants them.
Yeah. And so 25 could have been a higher number, but that's the other question, right? Because unlike, let's say, slightly more mature markets where there's a perhaps better understanding of these brands, what they stand for, what legacy or heritage that they bring, or even performance. In India, sometimes the buyer doesn't always get that complete story, and so there's this sense of, hey, I want it now, like I've decided to put my money into it, and so I want the car now. So a 9-month waiting period, is that difficult to explain sometimes, especially to these first-time buyers?
It is quite challenging for us to explain to these customers, but then yes, our team, when they explain to them that how the demand is worldwide, and also Lamborghini is about customization and personalization. So we also educate them that if you want to give your signature to the car and your personality to the car, we also need time to actually create that customization on the car. So yes, it is challenging because people are very excited to have this with them much earlier than what we are giving them, but yes, we have to manage this expectation.
But of the cars that you have delivered, of the cars that you have also of course taken bookings for, this is the Urus in particular, how many of them have customization options? How many people are opting for all this?
Everybody.
In fact, so pretty much across the board.
Yes, in fact we are really excited to see the kind of customization level people are going for Urus. See, I always maintain that while India is a small market, but in terms of buyer profile, Indian buyers are highly evolved. They really understand the customization trends, the preferences. They really want to give a signature to their car. And always I have maintained that in India we have no two Lamborghinis which are same, because every buyer has given some personality to the car. So you can find 10 yellow, but when you go and see those 10 yellow Huracan or Gallardo or any other car, you will see that each one of them is unique.
Yeah, something different.
And with Urus, people have really gone ahead in terms of customizing the car and giving more and more luxury experience to them. I'll say that for Urus, majority of the customers have spent more than 25% of the value of the car only on personalization. So which is quite significant. This also tells that how much they love the brand, how much they want to enjoy the luxury what Lamborghini is bringing to them. So this is a very good trend for us.
You've also done, a few experiences now with the Urus in India. People have had the chance to get behind the wheel for themselves. The appeal of a Lamborghini SUV was something that I guess was always going to be there. Now that they've experienced it, would you say that, after the initial announcement, your initial launch, has that interest gone up further now that people are seeing the car or touching it, driving it?
Absolutely, and in fact, as we always said that Urus is a super SUV, and it has a car which has got capabilities to be driven on the track and also under various off-road environments. So recently we took a few of our customers and prospects from India to a track in Zhuhai, where we also gave them an experience of driving Urus on a racetrack.
Yeah.
So they could experience that what we really meant when we said that it is not an SUV, it's a super SUV from Lamborghini, and Urus still has the same DNA what we have. Okay, it's a sports car DNA what we have also transformed into an Urus, and I always say that it's a sports car in the body type of a SUV. So customers could really connect and understand that why we said that it is always a super SUV. And then recently we did another experience for them in deserts of Dubai, where they could enjoy the car in that kind of an environment, and they could really appreciate the technology, the driving modes what we have built in for this Urus, and what
it's true.
Lamborghini can do it actually.
Yeah. And it's not just a pretty video, you can experience it yourself. Of course, the part about it being a super SUV, it's one of the few cars that I think I have gushed about, and I remember even saying it, I still say it, it's the only car on the planet that defies physics. Yes. To that extent, you can't believe it can do those things, given its proportions, shape, size, height. It's pretty incredible, there's no doubt. This whole aspect of, sort of educating the customer to this new segment, etc. Because, you might have a certain expectation saying, hey, it's an SUV, it's a super luxury SUV. And of course, I shudder as I say it, but I know a lot of people will still even buy this car and sit at the back. So they might want to be chauffeur driven in this car. But having said that, when, in the last 2-3 years, I know we've discussed this in the past about how you've made this conscious effort to go out and tap new cities, get into fresh markets across the country with your existing dealers, going out and, creating this outreach. Does the Urus play a stronger ambassador role for that outreach now? What's your experience been?
It is, because it definitely helps us to expand the number of people whom we can look at now. Because it is
it's not as niche
not
anymore.
only looking at a small niche of super sports car enthusiast. Over the last 3 years, we have made a conscious effort to look at India beyond metros. and we have consciously looked at tier 1 and tier 2 cities and looked at the aspiration of people there, and then presented the Italian craftsmanship, the technology and design leadership to them, and we are seeing a phenomenal change of response from these cities. Today, tier 1 and tier 2 brings more than 25% of our business, and
that will only grow.
Yes,
yeah,
and Urus is going to change this dimension in coming years. And also, when I say that as a company we are growing 70% this year, this 25% has also grown 70% this year. So it's a very exciting trend to see. Also, we are seeing that a lot of first generation entrepreneurs, not only in metros but also in smaller cities, tier 1, tier 2, they are looking at now this. So definitely yes, sports car was taking us there, we took it there and brought new segments, but Urus is definitely going to expand it.
Now, two quick points that come from that. One is the fact that you've been able to do all of this with your existing 3 dealers. So firstly, how soon do you anticipate the need for a 4th, or maybe in a different part of the country? And secondly, how much of this do you expect to sort of accelerate once the elections are done next year? Because I know there's a wait and watch. I know that the auto industry sentiment is also down right now. So both those things, I mean, do you see firstly the need for a new dealer or a new location, not a new dealer necessarily?
So currently what we have done, we have invested in the infrastructure of our current dealerships. So we have almost done 2x at each of our dealerships in terms of the infrastructure availability, be it physical or people. And we have prepared them to handle this growth and expansion. But as you rightly said, that as we continue to grow like this in coming years, we will definitely have the requirement to add more touch points for our customers. And we are evaluating few markets, and I think at an appropriate time we will take the decision that yes, it is the right time that we can actually create the touch point for our customers, which is also sustainable for us. So we will create that. Coming to your second question, yes, the second half of this year has been slightly challenging for overall auto industry. We were fortunate in that because we were driven by the demand what we are getting for this beauty, and also we had very exciting demand which is also coming from customers in India for limited editions, like for example SVJ. Okay,
which is incredible to see, by the way. You wouldn't have anticipated that 5 years ago.
Absolutely no. Again, it's another conscious effort which we put in the market, because we did first with Gallardo, an India edition, and then 2016 we bought the Avio to India to showcase to customers, 250 cars in the world, and we are happy that today we have 3 of them in India, which is very exciting. And now SVJ. So
it's a point I remember your global management always makes that point, saying you have 3 of those in India.
So it's a big number, and I can only say that you will be surprised to see when you start counting SVJs coming to India.
That's great.
And on top of it, we have another special car which will come next year, which is SVJ 63.
Wow.
One of 63 in the world. So India is really moving, and we're pretty excited that how we are looking at this market more strategically and also supporting the market with these kind of products.
In fact, that leads me to that point, which I know again we have discussed in the past, but now we're possibly in a different sort of a place to be able to have more perspective on it, which is about how much importance India gets from the headquarters. I remember the time when we had the global debut of the Urus at the headquarters in Santa Gata, and I think it was not within months but within weeks that you had the India launch, which was incredible. Nobody saw that coming. And then of course you started taking orders, and the rest is history, as they say. If you had said this to us 2 years ago, we would have been very reluctant to believe you. But like you said, you've done these special editions, you've always had them in quick time, Geneva debut, cars here, next week, things like that. So how much, I think that was the Performante. So how much of that now gives you that confidence that yes, when it comes to things like allocation, when it comes to things like maybe prioritizing, if not prioritizing, at least taking into account Indian needs, will happen at the headquarter level?
No, it is very much there, and India is one of the strategic market in Lamborghini world for the future growth of business, and that was one reason that we created the setup and structure way back in 2012. We are the only super luxury brand to have something like this in India, where we have a team dedicated for Indian market, taking care of customers, understanding what they need and how we can grow. And also this has helped us because Today, we are not only leaders in sports car segment, but this year the way we are growing, we will be leading the super luxury segment in India. Okay. So this is very strategic for us as a market, and this has been also shown in terms of response from the HQ. Whether we call how fast the Urus came, or we bought the Avio to showcase to Indian customers. Now you have seen SVJ, so we delivered it yesterday in India. It was not only the first in India, but one of the first in the world actually. So that shows how important it is, and I can promise you, you will soon see this happening next year. We will do another very first in India.
All right, I'll hold you to that.
So this is continuing.
I'm very excited to hear that, and that also tells me that you are being able to, or your voice is heard even louder now in terms of allocation and things like that, because I know there's a lot of pressure to deliver Urus worldwide. Yes. So, so for you that's good. That's good for your India business.
Yes. I think when you have set a long-term perspective for the market, I think that helps. Now the team in HQ is very much aligned that we are not looking at India short-term. They're also understanding the challenges what we face in this market, because it's always been a slightly bumpy ride. You know, we always have some surprises coming from here and there, but they understand that it's a market which is going to grow and going to become big in long term. So you've got to keep investing.
Yeah, it's not easy. I know, given especially the last few, you're calling them bumps. I'll say they were speed breakers, but yes, it's not always easy to. So it's good to know that they have that perspective. Globally, that's the last point I think I'll trouble you with. Of course, I think there's still a big wave that's still right high up there when it comes to the Urus, and I know the company is riding that wave. But you've had the SVJ. What's the next big sort of, massive product talking point that we can expect from Lamborghini globally? So
we say that our DNA is that we are rule breakers, we are challengers, and we are innovators. And one of the core value of the brand is that we are future shapers. So I can only promise you that whatever comes next will meet these brand values and will meet the DNA, and you will keep seeing that we keep on bringing more and more innovation and more exciting products to India. I don't have much to say at this point, but yes, keep guessing, it will be very exciting.
I have a few things in my head, but even I won't say them yet because it won't be fair, I know, to go there. But it keeps the excitement going for us, for sure, for all of our viewers as well. And yeah, the brand certainly evokes that beautiful, passionate, emotional reaction from everybody. And it's wonderful to see the Urus on Indian roads. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time today.
Pleasure.
And we'd love for all of you to get involved. Of course, Sharad has some special questions for you so that you can also take home a little piece of that Lamborghini story with some special memorabilia and merchandise. So get onto all our social media channels and see if you can answer some of those questions. Not too tough.
Okay.
Not too tough, right? Like he promises they won't be too tough. But again, Sharad, thank you. And thank you for doing this as well.
Pleasure.
So they can all look forward to your questions now on social media. Take care and all the best to the team.
Thank you.